Hello everyone. So let's start with the next topic of chapter 9 history, that is the kings and the chronicles. The topic is beyond the center, provincial administration. So in the last class we have read about the administration at the center, and now let's see that what was the type of administration, how the provinces were run, and how the administration of the provinces was run by in the Empire. So the division of functions established at the center was replicated. Replicated means revised. In the same way how the division of functions was there at the center, the same was repeated in the provinces also, or same followed at the provinces, that is जिसको वो कहते थे सूबा, where the ministers had their corresponding subordinates. यहाँ पर भी to the ministers, those who were called सूबेदार्स, they were having some subordinates to help them like Diwan, Bakshi and Sadar, and the head of the provincial administration was governor, who was also called सूबेदार, who reportedly directly to the emperor. और उसको किसको रिपोर्ट करना होता था directly? To the emperor. And the सूबेदार into which each सूबा was divided. Sarkars were the type in which all सूबा was divided, means again these provinces was again divided into a sub areas, that was called the sarkars, often overlapped with the jurisdiction. Here jurisdiction means authority, areas of authority. Fine. So they are overlapped with the jurisdiction of फौजदार्स. फौजदार्स होते थे बेटे कमांडेंट्स, कमांडर ऑफ द आर्मी, who were deployed. Deployed means तैनात करना, to stationed with contingents of heavy cavalry. इनको फौजदारों को हमेशा रेडी रहना पड़ता था with the contingents. Contingents means like army. That is contingents means all of a sudden if there is any time they have to attack on someone, or they have to arrange and campaign, so that time they have to always deployed, means they have to always be ready. तैनात कहते हैं, जैसे कि हमेशा तैनात रहना always. This contingents of heavy cavalry. Contingents मतलब all of a sudden, आकस्मिक जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं, all of a sudden heavy cavalry. Cavalry, you know only that घुड़सवार, and musketeers means those who are musketeers are those who are the soldiers who are armed with muskets, जो पूरा अपना कवर करके बॉडी को जो आर्म्ड होती है पूरी आर्मी, that one. They were always ready in the districts, and the local administration was looked after at the level of the परगना. और ये जो सरकार थे आगे डिवाइडेड थे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, और डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स को आगे डिवाइड किया गया था परगनास में, जिसको कहते थे सब डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, बाय 3 सेमी हेरिडेटरी ऑफिसर्स. और यहाँ पर उनके 3 हेरिडेटरी ऑफिसर्स थे, जिसमें कानून को जो आप अभी भी 7th में पढ़ कर आए होंगे, हु वॉज कीपिंग द रेवेन्यू रिकॉर्ड्स, द लैंड रेवेन्यू रिकॉर्ड्स. देन चौधरी, who was the in charge of the revenue collection, who was collecting the revenue, who was in charge for that, and third one was the Qazi. So at the sub district level also there was the Parganas. Parganas mean number of villages were there, group of number of villages, maybe sometime 100 villages in one Pargana. So the head of this Pargana was the 3 सेमी हेरिडेटरी ऑफिसर्स, द कानून को जो रेवेन्यू रिकॉर्ड रखते थे, एंड चौधरीज जो इंचार्ज थे रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन के, एंड काजी. एंड ईच डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वॉज मेंटेन अ लार्ज सपोर्ट ऑफ स्टाफ ऑफ क्लर्क. और हर डिपार्टमेंट में एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को हेल्प करने के लिए, मेंटेन करने के लिए, देयर वॉज द स्टाफ ऑफ क्लर्क्स, अकाउंटेंट्स, ऑडिटर्स, मैसेंजर्स एंड अदर फंक्शनरीज हु वर टेक्निकली क्वालिफाइड ऑफिशियल्स एंड फंक्शनिंग इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द स्टैंडर्डाइज रूल्स एंड regulations. So they are not they were not just ruling themselves, but they were not running the administrations themselves, but they were running it according to the rules and procedures which was fixed by the, or which was the protocol of the court and protocol of the Mughal emperors, generating copious written orders and even the records. So they have to maintain all the written records, and Persian was made the language of the administration throughout. So like how we are having nowadays the Hindi and English as the official language, so Hindi is the national language of the country. So same way they were using Persian as the official language for the administration, but local languages were also used for the maintaining the village accounts, because they were not aware about the Persian language. So that is why at the village level the village accountants were also using the local languages. The Mughal chronicles usually portrayed the emperor and his court as controlling the entire administrative apparatus down to the village level. and आपको भी पता है कि मुगल क्रॉनिकल जो है वो क्या दिखाते हैं हमें, पोर्ट्रेट मतलब क्या शो करते हैं कि एम्परर एंड हिज कोर्ट, ही वॉज एम्परर एंड हिज कोर्ट वॉज कंट्रोलिंग द एंटायर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव apparatus मीन सिस्टम डाउन टू द विलेज लेवल, मीन्स ग्रास रूट लेवल से लेके सेंटर तक द एम्परर एंड हिज कोर्ट वॉज handling the whole administration. So yet, as you have seen in chapter 8, this could hardly have been a process free of tension. You can imagine that from center to grassroots level tak, if anyone has to take care of the administration, it's not a cup of tea for everyone. So it's a process of a tension. So relationship between local landed magnates, the zamindars, representatives of the Mughal emperors, was sometimes marked by conflicts over authority and share of the resources. कई बार मुगल एम्पर और उनके जो लोकल लेवल के ऊपर विच एवर पीपल वर देयर लाइक द जमींदार्स और मे बी द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ऑफ द मुगल एम्परर्स लाइक सूबेदार्स वगैरह. सो समटाइम्स देयर वॉज कन्फ्लिक्ट अमंग दैम फॉर द अथॉरिटी मीन्स पावर के लिए एंड समटाइम फॉर द रिसोर्सेज के शेयर के लिए. कई बार उनमें कन्फ्लिक्ट हो जाया करते थे. एंड द जमींदार्स ऑफन सक्सीडेड इन मोबिलाइजिंग पीजेंट्स. और जमींदार जो होते थे इनकी पीजेंट्स के साथ बहुत ये अपनी बनाकर रखते थे, उनके साथ बहुत अच्छे रिलेशंस रखते थे. और जब कभी ऐसी कोई सिचुएशन आती थी जिसमें उनको मुगल एम्पर के अगेंस्ट दे हैव टू स्टैंड, सो दैट टाइम दे वर taking very nicely the support of these peasants against the center. So this was it means that ki zamindars were having a good relations with the peasants. Fine. So now let's see that कि how beyond the frontiers means मोर्चा जो हमारी टेरिटरी से उसके बियॉन्ड, उसके बाहर, मोर्चे के बाहर क्या होता था मीन्स उनकी जो टेरिटरी से उससे बाहर क्या हो रहा था. राइटर्स ऑफ द क्रॉनिकल्स लिस्ट मैनी हाई साउंडिंग टाइटल्स एज्यूम्ड बाय मुगल एम्पर. जैसे कि आपने क्रॉनिकल्स में यू हैव रेड दैट कि वेरी हाई साउंडिंग टाइटल्स वर गिवन टू द मुगल एम्पर. सो दिस इंक्लूडेड जनरल टाइटल्स सच एज शहनशाह, जिसको हम कहते हैं किंग्स ऑफ किंग. शहनशाह का मीनिंग है इंग्लिश में किंग्स ऑफ किंग. सो और स्पेसिफिक टाइटल्स एज्यूम्ड बाय इंडिविजुअल किंग्स अपॉन असेंडिंग द थ्रोन. जैसे ही वो थ्रोन पर बैठते थे उनको कोई ना कोई ऐसा टाइटल दे दिया जाता था. जैसे Jahangir was, otherwise his fair name was Salim, but Jahangir was the title awarded to him, meaning of which was world Caesar. ठीक है. And Shahjahan also the king of world, means इस पूरे वर्ल्ड का king. So these are the titles which were awarded to, or we can say that assigned to these all emperors at the time of their ascending the throne, when they ascended. And chronicles often drew on these titles and their meanings to reiterate the claims of the Mughal emperor to uncontested territorial and political control. And how these all have been given these titles, as it is only कि when they sat on the throne it means they got any title? No, it depends on कि how they run their administration and how much they strengthen and consolidated their empire. जितना ज़्यादा empire अपना बढ़ाते जाते थे, जितनी जाते वो जीत हासिल करते थे, उसके accordingly only these all titles were assigned to them by the people. And yet the same contemporary histories provide accounts of diplomatic relations and conflicts with neighboring political powers. And even the same time in these chronicles it was also mentioned that these Mughal emperors also have a political relationship. Diplomatic means a कूटनीतिक होता है, मतलब एक तो होती है कि positive politics. One is कि where these people are using some fraud and different types of methods, false methods or fraud methods to occupy others territories. So that is called diplomatic. ठीक है, कूटनीति जिसको हम कहते हैं हिंदी में. So these tells us that कि they were also having a very diplomatic relations and conflicts with the neighboring political powers also. These reflect some tension and political rivalries arising from competing regional interest. और अपनी regional powers को बढ़ाने के लिए sometimes they were also having conflicts with the and political rivalries with the neighboring states also, जिसमें सबसे पहले आते हैं Safavids and Kandhar. So the political and diplomatic relationship between Mughal kings and the neighboring countries of Iran and Turan hinged means joint. जैसे दो चीज़ों को ज्वाइन करने के लिए हम बीच में joint यूज़ करते हैं, that is called hinged. Fine. So they hinged on the control of the frontiers defined by the Hindu Kush mountain that separated Afghanistan from the region of Iran and general Asia. So means of these lines are there कि political and diplomatic relationship between Mughal kings and neighboring countries of Iran and Turan. हिंग्ड ऑन, कैसे ज्वाइंट थे दोनों के रिलेशंस मुगल किंग्स के और नेबरिंग कंट्री ईरान और तुरान के? ऑन द कंट्रोल ऑफ फ्रंटियर. किसके ऊपर? कंट्रोल. फ्रंटियर मतलब हमारी जो टेरिटरी होती है, बॉर्डर होता है, उसको कहते हैं फ्रंटियर. और ये उनका बॉर्डर कौन डिफाइन करता था? हिंदू कुश माउंटेन. हिंदू कुश माउंटेन के उस तरफ अफगानिस्तान साइड के ईरान एंड सेंट्रल एशिया, एंड इस तरफ का सारा एरिया जो था वो मुगल किंग्स का था. सो ऑल कॉन्करर्स हु सॉट टू मेक देयर वे इनटू इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट दे हैड टू क्रॉस हिंदू कुश. और अगर किसी भी इनमें से ईरानी और तुरानी को इफ़ दे हैव टू क्रॉस एंड दे हैव टू कम टू सब कॉन्टिनेंट दैट इज़ इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट, दे हैव टू क्रॉस द हिंदू कुश टू हैव असेस टू द नॉर्थ इंडिया. नॉर्थ इंडिया में आने के लिए उनको ये हिंदू कुश माउंटेन को क्रॉस करके आना पड़ता था. एंड कॉन्स्टेंट एम ऑफ मुगल पॉलिसी वॉज टू वार्ड ऑफ दिस potential danger by controlling strategic outpost. And Mughals wanted to get rid of this all danger anytime these people will cross this Hindu Kush mountain and they will cross and they will enter into the Indian frontier. So just to take out this fear from their minds, what they did, they have made the outpost outside, notably Kabul और कंधार के पास उसने अपनी आउटपोस्ट बनाए हुए थे, सो दैट वेन एवर देर विल बी एनी टाइम द अटैक फ्रॉम दैट साइड, सो देन ही विल कम टू नो. सो कंधार वॉज अ बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन बिटवीन द सेफाविड्स एंड मुगल्स. सो कंधार जो था वो एक तरह से वी कैन से दैट वन ऑफ द सोर्स कंटेंशन, इट वॉज कंटेंशन. सो इट मीन्स दैट कि कंधार वॉज अ बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन बिटवीन सेफाविड्स एंड द मुगल्स, कि कंधार एक ऐसी प्लेस थी जो दोनों के बीच में एक इशू के लिए वी कैन से दैट, और दोनों के बीच का एक डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करने के लिए भी ये कंधार एक ऐसा प्लेस था. एंड द फोर्ट्रेस टाउन हैड इनिशियली बीन इन द पोजेशन ऑफ, और ये कंधार जो था ये फोर्ट्रेस टाउन था जो सबसे पहले इट वॉज इन द पोजेशन ऑफ हुमायूं. इट वॉज इन द पोजेशन ऑफ हुमायूं. हुमायूं वॉज फादर ऑफ अकबर. सो इट वॉज इन द पोजेशन ऑफ हुमायूं एंड reconquered अगेन बाय 1596 बाय अकबर. उसके बाद में अगेन ही reconquered in 1596. In between it went into the hands of some other people also, but in 1596 Akbar again reconquered, while the Safavid court retained diplomatic relations with the Mughals. And the Safavid court, they have very diplomatic relations. They were not happy to maintain relations with these Mughals because they wanted Indian subcontinent, so they were not having that good relations with him, so they wanted always to get, so their relations were diplomatic relations means where you are just showing that you have a good relations, but in between you have rivalry with that kingdom. So it continued to stake claims to Kandhar, and always they were attacking to get they were always attacking to get the claim over the कंधार. दे ऑलवेज वांटेड. स्टेक मीन्स टू अटैक करना, क्लेम लेने के लिए मतलब अधिकार लेने के लिए, उसके ऊपर कंट्रोल करने के लिए. स्टेक मीन्स दाव पर लगाना. सो ऑलवेज दे वर कंटिन्यू टू स्टेक क्लेम टू कंधार. इन 1613 जहांगीर सेंट अ डिप्लोमेटिक एनवॉय टू द कोर्ट ऑफ कंधार. डिप्लोमेटिक एनवॉय मीन्स प्लीड मीन्स एन इमोशनल अपील. So what he did Jahangir in 1613, he sent a diplomatic envoy. Diplomatic envoy means political representative. Fine. So for what purpose he sent? For what purpose he did this? Sent his messenger. We can say that the diplomatic envoy, that is अपना political messenger, to the court of Shah Abbas to plead the Mughal case for retaining कंधार. तो किस चीज़ के लिए उसने उसको भेजा जहांगीर ने अपने डिप्लोमेटिक एनवॉय को? कोर्ट ऑफ शाह अब्बास के. शाह अब्बास वॉज सैफाविड एम्परर, सैफाविड का रूलर. So he sent his diplomatic envoy to appeal to that Shah Abbas to give them back Kandhar. Fine, because they were saying that it is from their forefathers only in the possession of Mughals, so that is why they wanted it back. But mission failed. But Safavid ruler refused it. So in the winter of 1622, a Persian army besieged Kandhar. Besieged Kandhar means what they did? They won or they lost? So they besieged means घेर लिया उन्होंने उसको. ठीक है, किसको? कंधार को, पर्शियन आर्मी ने. एंड द इल प्रिपेयर्ड, बिकॉज मुगल गैरिसन वॉज नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड वेल फॉर दैट. ठीक है. सो इन द विंटर ऑफ 1602 आ पर्शियन आर्मी बिसीज्ड कंधार. पर्शियन आर्मी ने कंधार को घेर लिया जस्ट बिकॉज दे वांटेड द पोजेशन, बिकॉज फर्स्ट दे इमोशनली जस्ट अपील्ड बट दैट वॉज रिफ्यूज्ड. देन दे अटैक्ड ऑन कंधार एंड दे just surrounded it, and the ill prepared, they were not well prepared, Mughal garrisons was not well prepared, so that is why the Mughal garrison was defeated and had to surrender the fortress and the city of Safavid. So उनको क्या करना पड़ा, जो भी ये कंधार का फोर्ट्रेस था और इवन जो Safavid की जो भी सिटीज़ उन्होंने ऑक्यूपाई की, दैट वाज आल्सो दे हैव टू सरेंडर टू द Safavids. So now let's see what was the Ottoman pilgrimage and trade. So the relationship between Mughals, Ottoman जो है बेटे वो अरेबियन के अंदर जितने भी उनके डिफरेंट टेरिटरीज वर देयर. सो रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द मुगल्स एंड द ऑटोमन्स वाज मार्क्ड बाय द कंसर्न टू इंश्योर फ्री मूवमेंट ऑफ मर्चेंट्स एंड पिलग्रिम्स. सो इट मीन्स दैट द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द ऑटोमन्स एंड मुगल्स वाज वेरी गुड बिकॉज देयर वाज फ्री मूवमेंट ऑफ द मर्चेंट्स एंड पिलग्रिम्स इन द टेरिटोरीज and under the territories Ottoman control, because in Ottoman control only there was the Makkah and Medina, which was the religious place for the Muslims. So that is why Mughals relation was very good with these Ottomans, and they were freely sending their merchants and pilgrims in each other's territories. So this was especially true for the Hijaz, that was the part of Ottoman Arabia where the important pilgrimage centers of Makkah and Medina were located. So this was also true for Hijaz also, because that time the people were going for the religious pilgrimage also to this place. So Mughal emperor usually combined religion and commerce by exporting valuable merchandise to Aden and Mocha, both Red Sea के पोर्ट से भी, and distributing the proceeds to the sales in charity in the sea. So he was also Mughal emperors usually combined religion and commerce. मतलब Mughal emperor ने religion, because Ottomans that place Hijaz was the pilgrimage place. So there also the movement of these Mughal people was also very free, and even the merchants from both the places were moving to each other's territories freely. So that is why Mughal emperor has combined both religion and commerce by exporting valuable merchandise to Aden and Mocha, which was in Ottoman, both sea routes, seaports, and distributing the proceeds ऑफ द सेल्स इन चैरिटी टू द कीपर्स ऑफ द श्राइन्स. और जो लोग ये श्राइन्स को, श्राइन्स मीन्स मक्का और मदीना जिसको श्राइन्स कहते हैं, सेक्रेड प्लेस, सो उनको दे वर सेलिंग आल्सो एंड दे वर गिविंग देम चैरिटी आल्सो, दोज हु वर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ दीज श्राइन्स. तो ही वाज सेंडिंग द we can say that he was sending the gifts also to the keepers of the shrines and religious men there. So however, when Aurangzeb discovered cases of misappropriation of the funds sent to Arabia, so he favored their distribution in India, which he thought was not much a house of God as Mecca. So when Aurangzeb discovered cases of misappropriation of the funds sent to Arabia, so when the Mughal emperors were sending some funds to this religious place in the Ottoman Empire में जो मक्का और मदीना place थी, they were sending the charity to that place. So when Aurangzeb came to know that कि they were misusing that amount which they were sending to it, so he favored their distribution in India. So what he thought, in spite of sending there, it has to be distributed in between India only, because number of places, religious places were there in India also. So he thought that कि was much of house of God as Makkah, कि India में भी ऐसे places हैं which are equal to the place of God which is Makkah. So then now let's see that the next topic, that is Jesuits at the Mughal court. So Jesuits are those people, those who are worshipping Jesus. So Europe received knowledge of India through the accounts of Jesuit missionaries also. So Europe में how they received knowledge of India, they received through the accounts of Jesuits. ये जो Jesuit missionaries थी, जो फादर जिनको हम कहते हैं, मीन्स the Christian missionaries के जो members थे, and even the travelers, merchants, and even the diplomats, those who were ambassadors of their European ambassadors in the court of Mughals. So they have also taken the written accounts to their countries. So Jesuits accounts are the earliest impressions of the Mughal court ever recorded by the European writers. सबसे पहले Jesuit people have only written the accounts of the Mughal court for the first time. And following the discovery of the direct sea route to the India at the end of the 15th century, when the direct sea route was discovered, so the Portuguese merchants established a network of trading centers in the coastal cities. You know that when Britishers arrived in India, before that already Portuguese were there in India. So Portuguese were the first merchants, those who reached in India during the time of Mughals. So they were already stationed in the coastal cities. So Portuguese king was also interested in the propagation of Christianity. Even the Portuguese king was also interested in propagation of Christianity with the help of the missionaries of the Society of Jesus. Even he was also interested in the Christianity. He also wanted to discuss everything Fine. So the Christian missions to India during the 16th century were part of this process of trade and empire building also. So even they have also written about the trade and even about the empire building. This Jesuit means Christian missionaries. Fine. So Akbar was curious about Christianity and dispatched an embassy to Goa. And Akbar was very curious, as I told you that he was very spiritual person. So he was very curious to know about the Christianity. So he dispatched an embassy to Goa. Embassy means his ambassadors he sent to Goa to invite Jesuit priest. जी मतलब जो फॉलो करते थे जीसस को, क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज के जो प्रीस्ट थे उनको ही इन्वाइटेड टू हिज ओन टेरिटरी. द फर्स्ट जेसुइट मिशन रीच द मुगल कोर्ट एट फतेहपुर सीकरी इन 1580. And then they stayed there for about 2 years, and Jesuits spoke to Akbar about Christianity and they debated its virtues with the ulemas. यहाँ पे ये जो क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज आए, they were talking with the Akbar also and even they were debating with the ulemas. Ulemas थे Muslim religious priest. So 2 more missions were sent to Mughal court at Lahore in 1591 and 1595. So Jesuit accounts were based on personal observation and shed light on the character. So Jesuit account जो उन्होंने लिखे, whatever they have written, that was their personal observation, whatever they observed in the Mughal court, and even shed light on the character and mind of the emperor. Everything they have recorded, and at public assemblies, जिसको हम दीवाने आम कहते हैं, द जेसुइट्स वर असाइंड प्लेसेस. और पब्लिक असेंबलीज में दीवाने आम में इनका जो प्लेस होती थी वेरी क्लोज टू अकबर्स थ्रोन. ये जो क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज के प्रीस्ट थे, इनके प्लेस जो थी वो बिल्कुल राजा एम्परर की थ्रोन के साइड में रखी जाती थी, बिकॉज ही हैड गिवन दैम अ वेरी हाई स्टेटस, वेरी हाई रैंक, we can say that. They accompanied even emperor on his campaigns whenever he was attacking any other territory. So these representatives, these Jesuits were also accompanying him there also. Torture his children, tutor his children, even taught his children also. अकबर के चिल्ड्रन को उन्होंने पढ़ाया भी है क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज ने, दैट इज़ द क्रिश्चियन जेसुइट्स. एंड इवन वर ऑफन कंपेनियंस ऑफ हिज लेजर टाइम. और जब वो लेजर टाइम में अपना एंटरटेनमेंट करते थे, दैट टाइम ऑल्सो दे वर अकम्पनिंग अकबर. द जेसुइट अकाउंट्स कॉरोबोरेटेड द इन्फॉर्मेशन गिवन इन पर्शियन क्रॉनिकल्स. इवन जेसुइट अकाउंट्स corroborate means supported. Fine. They also supported the same और गिवन सैंक्टिटी टू द सेम इन्फॉर्मेशन विच इज़ गिवन इन द पर्शियन क्रॉनिकल्स. उन्होंने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया कि येस व्हाट इज़ रिटन इन द पर्शियन क्रॉनिकल्स, दैट्स राइट अबाउट द स्टेट ऑफिशियल्स एंड जनरल कंडीशंस ऑफ द लाइफ इन द मुगल टाइम्स. And corroborate means confirmed. They confirm ki whatever information is there, that's right. So now the last topic is there, questioning formal religion. So let's see what is there in this. So the high respect shown by Akbar towards the members of the Jesuit mission impressed them deeply. When he has given a highly respect to these missionaries, so they get very impressed with him. They interpreted the emperor's open interest in the doctrine of Christianity, and they were knowing that he wanted to know deeply the doctrine of Christianity as a sign of his acceptance of their faith. और उनको ये लगा कि अगर वो इतना ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट ले रहे हैं क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज में, क्रिश्चियनिटी में, इट मीन्स दैट ही वॉन्टेड टू गिव इट्स एक्सेप्टेंस. मतलब इस धर्म को भी वो अपनी टेरिटरी में एक्सेप्टेंस देनी चाहते हैं. एंड दिस कैन बी अंडरस्टूड इन द लाइट ऑफ द प्रिवेलिंग क्लाइमेट ऑफ रिलीजियस इंटॉलरेंस. ये सब कुछ उनको कैसे उन्होंने समझा, व्हेन दे वर सीइंग दैट कि ही वॉज रिलीजियस इंटॉलरेंट मीन्स ही वॉज एक्सेप्टिंग ऑल द रिलीजन एंड गिवन इक्वल रिस्पेक्ट टू ऑल रिलीजन्स इन हिज एम्पायर एंड इवन इन द वेस्टर्न यूरोप. सो Monstrate remarked that, Monstrate is one of the Jesuit, he remarked that the king cared little that in allowing everyone to follow his religion, because he was not that taking interest. He was very little taking care that he was allowing everyone, you can follow your religion, whether you are Christian, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Hindu, so you can follow your religion. He was never, reality में he never violated that. And Akbar's quest for religious knowledge, अकबर का जो religious knowledge को जानने का जो जुनून था, that led to interfaith debates in the ibadat khana. इसके लिए वो he was always having debate with the scholars of religious scholars of different religion at ibadat khana at Fatehpur Sikri between learned Muslims, and that scholars were Muslim also, Hindu also, Jains, Parsis and Christians. Akbar's religious views matured as his queries scholars of different religion and sects and gather knowledge about their doctrine. So it shows that कि Akbar's religious views, अकबर के जो religious views थे, that was very matured. How? Because he's queried, जो भी वो query scholars से different religion के पूछते थे, and he was gathering all knowledge about their doctrines, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Hinduism, or whether it is Zoroastrians. So increasingly he moved away from the orthodox Islamic way. You know that otherwise these Muslim laws were very orthodox. Orthodox means very strict. They were not following any other religion. But he came out of that when he started debating with the other religion. So when he came to know that ki there is leniency in the other religions, and but in Muslim laws only there is the orthodoxy. So he started moving away from that orthodox Islamic ways of understanding religious towards of self-conceived eclectic. सेल्फ कंसीव्ड का मतलब होता है सेल्फ इमेजिन. मतलब ये कोई भी जो रूल्स थे रिलीजन के वो किसी भगवान ने नहीं लिखे आकर कि ये लोगों ने खुद ही बनाए हैं. तो ही स्टार्टेड कमिंग आउट ऑफ दो सेल्फ कंसीव्ड. एक्लेक्टिक मीन्स द वी कैन से दैट फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट डाइवर्स. मतलब जो ये जितने भी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस है जो डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से उनको पता चले हैं, डिफरेंट सोर्सेज से उन्होंने कलेक्ट किए हैं. सो ही सेल्फ कंसीव्ड एक्लेक्टिक फॉर्म ऑफ डिवाइन वर्शिप की. ये जो सेल्फ कंसीव्ड जो लोगों के अपने इमेजिन किए हुए ये जो डिफरेंट रूल जो उन्होंने डिवाइन वर्शिप के फोकस किए हैं, जैसे फोकस्ड ऑन लाइट एंड द सन. सो ही स्टार्टेड कमिंग मूविंग आउट ऑफ दैट. एंड वी हैव सीन दैट कि अकबर एंड अबुल फजल दे क्रिएटेड अ फिलोसफी ऑफ लाइट and used it to shape the image of the king. In the starting also I told that ki Mughal emperors ke behind they were showing the light. So a story also I told you that ki they are from the family of the sun. It was ki one of the ancestor I told you earlier also कि कोई इनके ancestor थे, she get pregnant by the हीट ऑफ द सन. सो इसीलिए उनको उनके वंशज कहा जाता है. इसीलिए इनके पीछे लाइट भी दिखाई जाती है. कई ऐसी पेंटिंग इसमें देखने के लिए मिली जिसमें उनमें पीछे उनके हेड के पीछे लाइट का कर्व्ड सर्कल दिखाया जाता है. So this all shows that he was having a good relations with the every religions people. And we have seen that ki Akbar and Abul Fazl created a philosophy of light and even used it to shape the image of the king and ideology of the state. In this divinity inspired individual has inspired every individual supreme sovereignty over his people and complete control. और यही उनकी जो डिवाइन पावर थी, जो डिविनिटी थी, इंटॉलरेंस पावर थी, जो सभी रिलीजन्स को ही वॉज गिविंग इक्वल रिस्पेक्ट, दैट हैज़ हेल्प्ड हिम टू हैव अ good control, or we can say that the supreme sovereignty over his people and complete control over his enemies also. So this was the whole chapter bete. Thank you.